Did you know that for Shadow of the Colossus, they initially had the idea of having 48 Colossus, but they soon found out that it was way too much, so they reduced it to 24. They have managed to create those 24 Colossus, but in the end they had to remove 8 of them because it was still too much to put in the game. You can find those 8 unused Colossi on the internet or in the art book of the game. Did you know that Doom can be played on a pregnancy test? Fun Turing, a Californian programmer, managed to remove most of the interior of the test, including the CPU, and used its one-color display to play the original Doom. Did you know that for The Last of Us, the inspiration behind the zombie fungus comes from a Planet Earth documentary? There is a part that shows off a dangerous fungus that is capable of infecting insects and taking them out in the process. Did you know that in Fallout 4, there is a painting of Napoleon in the game, but if you look closely enough, you will see that the face isn't actually Napoleon, but instead it is Todd Howard's face. Did you know that Kingdom Hearts began as an elevator pitch? During the 90s and early 2000s, Square Enix and Disney shared the same building in Tokyo, and it was in that building that Shinji Hashimoto and a Disney executive coincidentally met in an elevator. And during this encounter, Hashimoto took this opportunity to pitch a collaborative idea between Disney and Square Enix, and from that Kingdom Hearts was born. Did you know that in Kingdom Hearts 2, there's a cutscene that shows Donald Duck getting spanked by Daisy in the Japanese version of the game, while in the other versions, you instead see Donald getting scolded? Did you know that in Kingdom Hearts 3, if you look closely on the clock tower from the game's box art, you can firstly see that the clock features 13 Roman numbers instead of 12. On top of that, the two hands is pointing at 13 and 7, which represents the 7 lights and 13 darknesses that will play a major role in the game's story. And finally, the clock tower itself is almost identical to the NTT Docomo building in Shinjuku, Japan. Did you know that in GHOSTWIRE Tokyo, the rain that appears in the game isn't actually water, but instead it is the word rain, but written with the kanji alphabet? Did you know that for Red Dead Redemption 2, it took 8 years, 700 voice actors, 300,000 animations, 500 motion capture actors, 500,000 lines of dialogue, 1,000 software developers, 192 mission soundtracks, 110 musicians, and 1,600 developers to make the game? Did you know that in Ghost of Tsushima, if you climb Mount Jokaku while the weather is clear, you will be able to see the Korean peninsula?